Hello again, everyone. So it's Saturday, and another little video from me. So I thought today I'd talk about the benefits of being at home. I know that doesn't feel very beneficial to a lot of people, so I'm aware that some of you are at home, maybe not well. Some of you with children to occupy and wondering how long that's going to be for. Um, but actually, there are things that we can definitely take advantage of. And the most obvious thing is having a slower way of life, just slowing down. So, most of us live in quite a fast lane with things to do every day and pressure on what we're doing. So, if we can learn to relax, I mean, one of the things is certainly that I'm doing myself, I'm making sure that I don't listen or watch the news more than once in the day. And I'm finding that helpful because we can get very caught up with the latest things to be worried about and concerned about, and you're not going to be able to do anything about it. So, yeah, perhaps it's sensible to know once a day what the latest thinking is, the latest rules or guidelines are. That is helpful, but beyond that, I think it really isn't helpful to be listening or watching any more than that, especially as most of us are spending quite a lot of time perhaps on the computer, catching up with friends, keeping in touch with people. This morning I came out to my cabin. Here I am in the cabin, and you can see part of my shrines behind me. So I've got Avalokiteshvara there, the thousand-armed, reaching out in every direction. And beside Avalokiteshvara, you'll see Stuart skeleton, and a picture here of Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche, who, as you mostly know, is a favourite teacher of mine. So I came out here this morning, and one real beneficial thing for me is that the building work at the back of the cabin has stopped. And I was just struck this morning by the quiet, by the silence around me. I could hear all these different birds singing, and it was a level, I suppose, of peacefulness and quiet that we don't often get. I think there's a lot less traffic on the roads. So one of the mindfulness exercises we can do is really listen, if possible, to some of that silence. Just notice how there is less traffic, how there is less noise, there are less people around. It doesn't mean we need to feel separate from them, because it is important that we are helping each other and that we're in touch with each other and that we know what's going on, particularly for vulnerable people. But yes, making use of this time at home, noticing the fear that comes up and the boredom that comes up. Boredom is a very useful experience for us. So boredom can teach us what it is that we distract ourselves with all the time. And in a way, we need to sink more deeply into that boredom, to really be with it, to sit with it, and to notice that actually it is just an experience of wanting something different to what we're experiencing at the time. And usually we don't have that experience of noticing how we're always grabbing at something, because we just keep busy. We move from one thing to another. So experiencing ourselves in this way of being slowed down forcibly, without us choosing that, but to have to stop, to have to be still at times. It is giving us that opportunity to be more aware, more mindful of the way that we turn towards things that are outside of ourselves. to be aware in a way of our habits and our neurotic cravings. I mean, I already notice for myself that I'm wanting more food. So I'm sure I'm not needing more food, but being here in the cabin all the time, and perhaps having a sense of we don't know uh, when we can go shopping or whatever for more food. Somehow it's making me even hungrier than usual. So I'm trying to curb that. So what can we do when we're at home? Well, we can practice mindfulness, certainly. And I think that's really important. You know, to have real moments of mindfulness, not trying to distract ourselves with information, picking up information all the time. And doing creative things, also really important. Or, I mean, I imagine a lot of you are catching up with things that you haven't had a chance to do at home. So, I was thinking about some of the texts that I've learnt over the years, and I've been looking back at them and kind of relearning them, because sometimes, obviously, over the years, I forget bits and pieces. And one of the teachings that I was thinking about was this lovely teaching from the Zen master Sensang, the third Zen patriarch. So let me think for a moment of those lines that I wanted to remember. Yes, he says, "Stop talking and thinking, and there is nothing that you will not be able to know." Stop talking and thinking, and there is nothing you will not be able to know. This is very mysterious, isn't it? Because we think that we know things by gathering information. So what is it that we can know if we stop talking and thinking? So we're being invited there to enter a state of spaciousness, a space of openness, a space where there is clarity and calm and a sense of getting to know ourselves better. So we get to know ourselves better, not by thinking, not by reading, not by doing things, but sometimes just by being aware of ourself as a human being aware of the sensations in our body, being aware, for example, at the moment that perhaps we're still well, being grateful, just having gratitude for our human birth and for what's possible within that human birth. So I think that's all I'm going to say for now, and hopefully see you tomorrow. Bye for now.